Good morning, everybody. It is June 16th, a Tuesday. Tuesday. Well, as you guys might have seen or heard from on my last video, Mondays are crazy days at work because it's delivery day. Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. The only thing that was frustrating was, as usual, um, somebody did the cigarettes before I got there, and, it was a bit of a chaotic mess. I did not mess with them. I did not try to straighten them out yesterday because, one, I knew it was going to be a little bit busier than normal because of problems with the other store. I drove by there yesterday, by the way, and it looks like they got one door fixed so they can be in operation. So that kind of alleviates some of our problems. But I was just kind of like, when I drove by, because I was going to pick up some food for a late night meal for me and Jerry. Um, I was thinking that I was going to see both doors boarded up. Only one of them was. Only one side was boarded up. So it was kind of like, was that the side that wasn't as mangled up as the other side, or what? I'm sorry. Yawning at this. Well, it's not that early, but anyhow, I'm not pounding on my chest, by the way, people. I put my hand over my chest because I don't know, it just has some sort of weird calming effect. I think part of it was because when I was younger and I had really bad coughing spasms, I mean, literally fits of coughing, my dad used to put his hand on my chest to, I wouldn't say hold me down because that wasn't the factor. It was more like something about it was soothing. I don't know. Anyhow, since today is Tuesday, and usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays are somewhat calmer, um, because of most people have either spent their money or it's the second day of the work week. I don't know, but I'm hoping to get a lot more done, organizing wise. Boy, sorry, I'm like having some minor because of the post nasal drip. I'm having some minor breathing issues. I appreciate all of you people who have been saying go to the doctor, go to the doctor. Two reasons why I haven't gone to the doctor. One, I don't know how my insurance is doing because there's we've been having problems with our insurance, and I haven't heard anything back lately because Jerry Ann's been trying to deal with it. I should ask her because I know we both need to go see a doctor for one reason or another. But health wise, this is normal for us. Every year we have seasonal problems, and there's not much a doctor can do but prescribe medication. And the thing is my and my brain is like, why am I going to take medication all year round when it's a seasonal problem that comes and goes? Some years are better than other years. It depends on it depends on the weather and the pollen and just various things that nobody can control. And I'd rather not put toxins in my body that could eventually be my downfall than suffer. And the suffering is minor. I mean, with the teas, which help, the warm tea helps break up the mucus and whatnot, which anybody who's dealt with sinus problems or congestion or anything like that due to seasonal issues know that warm liquid helps out, which this is one of the many reasons why I drink tea every morning. Anyhow, let's go ahead and read this little inspirational verse, and it says, if I can get my eyeballs to focus, we can trust this: God is both good and sovereign, always. Yeah, that's true. He is. Um, it it's one of those. I think that's one of the many things that keeps me going, is knowing just that little bit of information. Um, there are some people who, and I know this because I've suffered from it myself. There are those people who go through dark periods that lose track of that. Um, in fact, I know right now there is, excuse me, there are people around the world right now, not just here in the States, that are going through this dark period because of COVID. Now, there are also those who are going through issues not even having to do with COVID. It's not even COVID related. For instance, and I'm not going to give names or anything like that, but I know of a couple who have a couple kids. One of them, for some reason, wants to file a divorce. Now, it's one of those touchy-feely things because it's like the religious part of me goes, no, 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 no. You've got 3 kids. You should not be doing this. You need to work it out. Then there's that other part of me that goes, why? What's what event occurred or events that have been occurring that has pushed you to this direction? Now, I don't live close enough to these people to console them, to talk to them, to possibly be a mediator, even though I'm not a licensed professional. Um, I know them well enough to know that they both grew up um, in very Christian families. Um, I would love to be able to convince them, or have somebody who's closer to convince them to stay off the divorce thing and try a book that I read, because there was a time that I thought I was going to do the same thing with Jerry Ann, um, called The Love Dare. Now, anybody who's ever seen the movie Fireproof probably knows of this book. Excuse me. Yes, the morning routine of blowing the nose. Um, I know somebody who might be able to talk to them if I get a hold of them and see what happens. I mean, I've known couples who stayed together for the kids and resented each other left and right, and still do. Granted, that couple's kids are in their 20s. Yeah, early 20s at least. Um, this particular couple, their kids are still in their well, mid, late teens, somewhere around there. Um, the only reason why I'm talking about this is because the fact it weighs heavily on my heart. Excuse me. So it's one of those things that I had to get out in the open. But anyhow, aside from that, everything has been fairly normal. If you would call anything that's going on lately normal. I know, I know that a lot of the past videos I've done, we've talked about COVID. Now, I've been hearing through newsletters that I get from different countries as well as research. A lot of European countries are now slowly starting to open up travel. In fact, the newsletter I got last night, which is from Norway, um, they're talking about opening up their travels and whatnot to some of the nearby, as they put it, Nordic countries, which most of northwestern Europe, Scandinavia, Norway, um, not Switzerland, Sweden. That's the other S country that I think about. Sweden, northwestern Germany, and Iceland. And I'm not sure if they still consider it part of the Nordic countries, but the northern part of the UK was at one point in time considered Nordic territory because the Norsemen came sailing across the ocean and basically started taking up residence in those regions. In fact, there are a couple, if I'm not mistaken, there are a couple countries, not countries, there are a couple cities in northern UK that still use the Nordic name that the town was called. I think, I'm not positive. I know that's true for most of all of Norway, all of Scandinavia, most if not all of Sweden, and parts of northwestern Germany. Um, but they're opening most of their borders to most of those countries except for consideration with Sweden. I don't know why. Maybe Sweden still has high levels of COVID. I'm not sure. I didn't read why. But Norway is starting to open up their borders for travel. They're starting to allow um, certain festivals and whatnot to happen. At least that's what their newsletter said. Their newsletter also talked about something they call dark tourism, and from what I read, it has to do with basically off the beaten track type tourism, not the hotels and beaches and museums type things. They're talking about stuff off the, like I said, off the beaten track, which is great because it shows that other countries are doing what they have to do for. I mean, they're doing it within reason. They're following the Europeans' version of the CDC. Um, so yeah, that's great. Um, Sorry, my throat was tingly. The other thing I wanted to touch on when it has to do with the CDC, I looked on the CDC website, and because there's been questions about the numbers of now I don't go by the fatality level because I don't like looking at that. I don't like knowing how many people have actually died. Somebody actually sent me a message giving numbers, and I don't know if that was the death toll or what, but they didn't specify if it was the number of people who passed away and where. I look at, hold on a second. There was something on my screen. I don't know what it was. I look at total numbers for how many people have fallen sick, not people who have died. But as of 10 hours ago, here in Missouri, there has been 16,611 cases. Excuse me. U.S. alone has been 2,114,026. Yeah, 26 cases, and globally 8,032,820 cases globally. And these are just the cases of sick people that they found. Um, I didn't collect the death toll because, like I said, it's not that I don't want to know how many people have died. It's more like I don't really want to know because it's one of those. I guess it's just one of those things that hits too hard because the factor that for every individual who have passed away, there is a family of unknown people, and I'm not talking about just moms, dads, and kids. I'm talking about the whole. Like let's say one of my cousins, whether it's from my mom's side of the family or my dad's side of the family, passes away because of COVID. That's at least a minimum that I can think of off the top of my head, a minimum of 50 total people who are affected by this. Some of them more directly and heavier hit than others, but still, that's 50 possible family members who have to deal with the passing of one person. Now imagine if one person passes away and between brothers and sisters and parents and grandparents and cousins and second cousins, however number of people that person might have had that is connected to them via bloodline. So for every, let's say, let's just do a guesstimate. Let's say here in Missouri, 1,000 people have passed away from COVID. That means you could have anywhere from a couple hundred to even near 1,000 people who are going to grieve for that one person because we don't know how many people are connected to them via family, work, whatever kind of relationship they might have had with their community. We're talking about communities of people who could be grieving for one person. So for let's just do a guesstimate. For every 1,000 people, there's 250 people who are going to grieve. That's gut wrenching to think that globally. Let's cut let's cut the number here globally. Globally, we have 8 million cases. So let's say there's 4 million who passed away from those cases. I'm just doing guesstimation round numbers. I'm not doing exact numbers. But let's say for every let's just say for every 1,000 people who have passed away, there's at least 200 people that could be affected directly or indirectly by that one person. That's gut wrenching. But anyhow, it's one of those things where it's like it started in one location, but it spread globally quickly. Now, according to original medical examiners, whatever, they said that it cannot be spread by direct contact. It's something that comes up out of your lungs. So let's say for the average healthy person, each breath carries so many particles of COVID. Anybody walking past that person when they breathe, not even just coughing, they're just breathing. Each breath spreads, oh jeez, I don't even know the math for the particles, but let's just say that each individual person breathes out a minuscule amount of COVID if they're not affected. But if they're affected and they don't know it, they're breathing out a lot of this stuff for every breath they exhale. Speaking about exhaling, um, everybody who walks near this person could be breathing in the COVID. Now, the masks, which the CDC suggests we wear, isn't for their protection. Isn't for your protection. Excuse me, I reversed that. Isn't for your protection. That mask is for their protection, because if you've got the COVID and you're not sick, or you're not showing signs of being sick from it, you could be, I don't want to say typhoid Mary, that I don't want to put anybody into a panic, but you could be able to deal with your own amounts, because according to the CDC, we all have it in us. Everything has it in us. Blah, blah, I don't know. But the masks are mostly for their protection, not yours. Yeah, it does protect you to a certain extent. That's why most of these masks are saying if you're going to use a cloth mask, it should be double layered with the possibility of a filter, which I've got filters for my masks. And I do say masks as in plural because I have one. Y'all seen the Assassin's Creed one that I had from one of my previous videos. I had ordered one that I thought was going to have a different print on it, but it had the wrong print. I gave it to Mom. Mom likes cats. It had a lion on it. The filters I have fit that mask. And then I had forgotten that I must have like double clicked on something and ordered it without even realizing it. But yesterday I got a package. It had 3 masks. So I can give 2 of these away to a coworker. In fact, I have one that was asking me about the one I had. But I'm not even going to put it on because I want to give this to my coworker. But it's a cloth mask similar to the Assassin's Creed. It's gray, but it has a vent. Now, I wore the gray one to work yesterday because my Assassin's Creed one needs to be cleaned. So, I'm probably going to give this to my coworker and bring in some extra filters to see if he wants them. Because the mask that we have at work, it looks like a medical one that the company sent us. They're not all that great. They're bulky, and if they don't fit you just right, they're either blocking your vision or not covering up properly. So I'm going to give him this one. Now, the reason why I like the one I have, this one that I have, is that air filter. One, and I discovered this, the Assassin's Creed one does not have a filter. So it makes my face hotter and makes me sweaty. And actually makes it a little bit more difficult to breathe once I start getting too hot. Like I said, this one has a vent, so yay. The second one that I have, because I have 2 extra ones, I may keep as a triple backup, basically. Let's say I work, like this week, I work 4 days straight. Now, Sunday I wore the Assassin's Creed mask. Yesterday I wore the gray one. Tomorrow I'm going to wear the gray one again. And then Wednesday, no, tomorrow is Wednesday. Oh, yay. Sorry. So, tomorrow, I'll either wear the gray one with a new filter or I'll wear the triple backup one. So I'm only wearing each mask 2 days, 1 to 2 days. The CDC does suggest that if you go to wear your own mask, like a store-bought one or whatever, that you either wash it did they say every day or every other day? I can't remember. But basically, there's the suggestion trying not to wear the same mask more than 2 days. I think they said. So, so be it. Um, I have to talk to mom and see if she's thrown her mask in the wash, because even though we didn't wear it around Ohio because everybody else didn't seem to, everybody else wasn't wearing them. I should have basically ignored everybody and said, you know what, for my own health, I'm gonna wear it. I don't care. But my Aunt Joyce, I love her to pieces, but she's got this attitude where I'm not gonna wear a mask if I'm gonna get sick, because it's my time to go. It's my time to go. And I was like, that's not the greatest attitude to have when you've got 5 grandkids who come over and hang out on a regular basis. Now I can understand not wearing it in the house, but the thing is, your example is not exactly the smartest. Now I know Sydney and Riley, who work in the public, they both have jobs that are customer service based or service based. So, like, I think both Sydney and Riley um, work in pizzerias. They have to wear a mask there. It's company policy. Sydney talked about she had to wear a mask while doing people's hair at her grandmother's hair salon. Not my Aunt Joyce, her other grandmother, her mom's mom. So, I can understand that, but they're both kind of like, we really don't like wearing masks unless we have to. And I'm like, well, not to be a killjoy, but when you're out in the general public at grocery stores and whatnot, it's best to wear the mask more for protective reasons than anything else. Now, I don't really worry about my cousin Philip's kids because they're not young. They're 18, 17, and 14, or is it 17, 16, and 14? I don't remember their ages now. And I was just there visiting. Wow, I can't remember ages. But anyhow, this has gotten a little bit longer than I wanted to. I wanted to try to make it 15 minutes because I got other stuff to do. But anyhow, yes, that time I pounded on my chest because that cough kind of hurt a little. Um, I just hope that soon this whole COVID stuff will start to blow over. The problem is, I don't see that happening soon. Granted, I just got a message from Regal Cinemas because I have a membership with them, saying that July 15th they'll be opening back up, which is kind of like cool, cool. I thought about getting a job there because don't have to deal with groceries, don't have to deal with lottery, just have to deal with giving people movie tickets, cleaning up the theaters, doing food service. See, I don't mind. I like my job. I'm getting tired of especially a lottery. Dealing with the lottery machine. It's anyhow. I will end this. Um, I apologize for all the coughing and whatnot. It's been kind of a bad morning for the seasonal crud thing that I get. Anyhow, um, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box. I will try to get to them. I might not always write something underneath, but I usually let you know that I got to it. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. A little bell will pop up, and then you can click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. Until next time, God bless and have a good day. Bye.